So before I begin, just a warning, some of you may get uncomfortable with the topic or offended because this is about women and men and why they are different. So this line, Why Men Don't Listen and Women Can't Read Maps, this is actually a title of a book. And this already says that, is it actually true? What I'm going to show you is that it is true. So, our biology hasn't changed since we were cavemen. Men before hunted animals to give the food to their families, and women took care of the young and watched the house and everything like that. So, in terms of this, what women have is that they can multitask better. And the reason for this is they have a corpus callosum. What this is actually the thing in the middle of the brain that connects the left and right brain. Because what this is that the left brain controls all our logical and analytical skills, while the right brain controls our artsy side. So, because of this, they can multitask. What men are different here is that men have a smaller corpus callosum, so they can't multitask as well as women. But what the advantage of men in this part is that they have better spatial ability, which is actually the reason why men are actually better in driving. And what gives this is that women like talking more than men. That's why women are better in the art of communication. So, in terms of since olden times, women took care of families and stuff. This is also true here, that men want answers, but women just want someone to listen. Because our biology is, despite being the same species, men and women are totally different in the mind. Yeah. So why are we who we are? It's because of hormones. It all starts when we are in the fetus stage. Because when we're fetus, we don't have a gender yet. And the only time that we have a gender is when our hormones, we receive hormones. And the only thing we receive are male hormones. If you don't receive male hormones, you're a girl. If you receive male hormones, you're a guy. But there are special cases where sometimes you receive male hormones and sometimes you receive nothing. You don't receive the whole thing. So the result of this is homosexuals and transsexuals. And an example of this is Ellen DeGeneres. So these are the statistics. 85 of males have mainly male-wired brains, while 15% have feminine brains, and usually all of them turns out to be gay. And there are also cases that when they're babies, some people, they have everything a feminine body should have, but when they turn puberty, they suddenly have a male reproductive organ. Why is that? So it's because of estrogen and testosterone. So estrogen is the hormone that we get, what women get when they become an adolescent, and testosterone for men. Now, this is a fun fact. Testosterone makes us more assertive. So, why do you wonder that in big games like basketball and baseball, that the people emphasize you to cheer for them? This actually creates more testosterone for the players. And the more testosterone they have, the better the chances of them winning the game. So, testosterone also makes you aggressive, which if aggressiveness isn't released, it commits very bad things. Which is why 90% of men in jail are men. 90% of people are in jail. And they actually did a test here that successful businessmen have high levels of testosterone. In fact, if you give a woman testosterone. She will have facial hair and all that stuff. But she will also be better at spatial abilities and stuff like that. But they will also become more angry because their body isn't fit to get that much testosterone like men. And because of testosterone, we talk about sex. So the sex drive of men and women are very different despite we being the same species again. So the peak of the sex drive of females is 30 to 40s, while the sex drive of males are from 18 to 20s. So that's why you shouldn't be surprised where there's an older woman and younger men combination and younger men and older men combination. Because the explanation for this is that these combinations actually complement each other because they have the same level of sex drive. So if in the relationship you're searching for sex, then it totally makes sense. Yeah. So men want sex and women want love. It may not make sense, but it does. Because men can differentiate sex from love, while women can't. Love and sex for women are intertwined with each other. They can't separate it. So a fun fact also that men rely on sight and women rely on hearing. That's why this explains why men actually prefer pornography and women don't. So, like going back to the olden times when we were still cavemen, men are meant to have sex with a lot of women. The reason for this is like all animals, it is to make our species live longer for the survival of the species. So, there's a fun fact also that 90% of affairs are initiated by men, but 80% of affairs are ended by women. The explanation of this is that men search for sex, right? But women, when they want sex, they also want love with it. So, when a woman in a relationship thinks that there's no benefit in that relationship until marriage, they end it. Yeah. So, in our society right now, people want men and women to be equal and the same. Well, but the thing here is that equal is totally different from the same, because what I just said earlier, men and women are totally different in our biological makeup. So another example of this is that 99% of airline pilots are only men. Why is that? Because, like I said, an example before, that men tend to be better at driving because they have better spatial ability. Same with driving an airplane. Piloting an airplane. Also with accountants and engineers, this also explains why in computer science or engineering courses that there are less women and more men. And why in liberal arts there are more women and less men. So what's wrong with society right now? People think that men and women should be equal, which they should be in a social level, but we are totally different species. The only thing that we are the same is that we live in the same planet and we give birth to each other. So it's all in biology, all by hormones, and we are only influenced by our society. Also a fun fact I forgot to say, that if a lot of people break off their relationships, why do 90% of people want to get married? It's because marriage is, like I said, influenced by society. And it's one of the sure ways of making a family with well brought up children. And how do you say this? It takes care of your life until you die. So there, it's all in biology. Thank you.
Okay, that was very